Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this afternoon we'll have a look at the latest GFS, GEM, ECMWF, GFS Ensembles, and then we'll lastly finish up with the UKMO Office Run as well. We've got some very interesting weather coming up in the next few weeks. We've got high pressure around at the moment, and I hope you're all enjoying your bank holiday. It's been largely dry and fine for many places. Some showers in the east, but they have been pretty localised with that. But it's looking like high pressure is going to be dominating for the next week. Beyond that, we're starting to see some interesting things come up in the models. At the moment, there is major Hurricane Ida going on in the Gulf of Mexico, potentially making landfall in Louisiana or Mississippi. And that is starting to put a spanner in the works in the latest models. And I'll run through that in a minute. As you know, with hurricanes, they've got a lot of very hot and moist air within them. And what by this time it will be ex-hurricane Ida, as it heads up the jet stream, it could draw up a lot of warm, moist air in from the south. We'll see it on the models in a minute, and it could mean some areas could potentially have a brief heat wave for a couple of days in the middle of September, where we see a big rush of very hot and humid air. Now, it wouldn't be blistering sunshine, 35 degrees, but it could be very hot, humid, oppressive, and temperature get up into the high 20s. So if we do run through the latest GFS, you can see at the moment we've got very nice high pressure around with pretty warm upper air temperatures, maybe in the far southeast a few showers around, but nothing too significant. You can see the high pressure just stays in control if we go back to the pressure charts. And you can see generally nothing really is happening. But as we head towards the end of this week, you see this small low pressure system. Now, this is ex-hurricane Ida. If we go to the upper air temperatures, you can see there with a lot of warm, moist air being shunted up from the south. And as we head towards next weekend, you can see all this warm, moist, humid air out in the Atlantic is driving northwards, and it's bringing up some very warm air initially to the UK. But what it also does is it builds a dip in the jet stream. As you can see, it does go a bit further southwards, and it builds up this dip in the jet stream, and it builds up southerly winds. And you can see at the moment, by sort of next Sunday, we've got quite warm air, but by sort of the middle of the following week, we draw up some very, very hot air in from the south, potentially heatwave-like conditions with the 15-degree isotherm coming through. Now, we'll have a look at the other models in a minute, and all the models have a very different solution with regards to ex-hurricane Ida, but they all have the potential for this hot, humid air coming up. This latest GFS does it a bit more indirectly with the low pressure associated with Ida, building a buckle in the jet stream and drawing up some southerly winds, allowing the high pressure to take in control. So this would be more of a warm, sunny. Will be a hot, sunny, so potentially a few-day heat wave before low pressure comes in off the Atlantic once again. If we do have a look at the GEM, which actually goes even hotter, and I'll show you that now, you can see we got high pressure around, not really doing much at the moment, just really milling around with some warm, dry conditions for all. A few showers in the far southeast, of course, but nothing too significant. As we're through to Thursday, you can see these low pressure systems coming in out of America. You can see it here. This is ex-hurricane Ida. A few hours behind, maybe 12 hours behind what the GFS is doing it in terms of moving through America. That could make a big difference. But as it heads in, you can see it spins up. And if we do go to the upper air temperatures, you can see there's a lot of warm, hot air heading up from the south. 15-degree isotherm in the middle of the Atlantic. And you can see as it skims to the north of the UK, we draw in some very hot and humid air into the south. Very warm there, and if we do scroll in, you can see, or zoom in, you can see a very strong westerly wind, bringing in some very hot and humid air. The 15-degree isotherm moves in. Very, very warm on the latest GFS, on the latest GM, towards day 10, so sort of early, sort of next weekend into early next week. It will be very brief, as this will be a warm, hot sector, and it will move through in 24, 36 hours. Maybe 48 hours, maybe get 2 days out of it. But it could bring some very, very hot temperatures for a day or two before temperatures dip down again. We can see mid to high 20s potentially. If we do have a look at the 2-meter temperatures. Now, this is at night, but you see during midday, this is midday, so not the peak of the day. It's 25 degrees already in East Anglia, potentially getting up to 27, 28 degrees or higher. So it just shows you the heat that is in this air coming in as a result of ex-hurricane Ida. So you really have to keep an eye on this. We'll have a look at the ensembles in a minute. You can see there is a lot of uncertainty with it. So if we do run through the ECMWF, see what that is showing. You can see high pressure around at the moment. As we head through to Thursday, you can see Ida there, this low pressure system moving out of America, joining up with a main area of high pressure towards Greenland. You can see there is the -5 line feeding into this low pressure system, and the 15-degree isotherm feeding in to the eastern side of these areas of low pressure. So it's really going to spin up this low pressure, and it could create a very stormy sort of area for the UK. You can see the very hot air just does skim to our south. So on this latest ECMWF, it doesn't quite bring up very, very hot air, but it does bring them some very, very stormy conditions for a couple of days. And this is a scenario where we could be seeing a lot of rain, heavy rain, and some very strong winds potentially in Scotland. You can see the main centre of those a bit further northwards. So we'll really have to keep an eye on this. But you can see why we do always keep an eye on what is happening with the hurricane season. As you can see, ex-hurricane Ida is putting a spanner in the works, sort of at day 7. So heading up to next weekend is where there's a lot of divergence as it heads out of America, sort of the northeast coast, by sort of Thursday, Friday this coming week. So really have to keep an eye on this. It could bring up some very hot air, and it could bring some very stormy conditions as well, just really depending on how it reacts to the jet stream. If we have a look at the GFS Ensembles, you can see it well reflected here. You can see the next 7 days or so towards next weekend. It's fairly well modelled, potentially around average to above average temperatures, very dry as well. As we're towards the 5th, 6th of September, so getting towards sort of 7, 8, 9, 10 days time, you can see a lot more divergence in the model. Some, including the GFS Operational Run, are going very warm, especially this time of year. 5, 6, 7 degrees above average could get temperatures into the mid to high 20s. Others are going cooler and have got some big precipitation spikes potentially associated with them as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on it, and it's just going to really see what happens with this ex-hurricane. And see beyond that, everything really goes back down towards average. But there is a lot of uncertainty within this. If you have a look at the mean sea level pressure, you can see the majority do have high pressure involved, especially in the south. A few have lower pressure coming involved, and that will be because ex-hurricane Ida is spun up a little bit more, and it heads a bit further southwards. If we have a look at what's happening in Glasgow, it gives us an idea of the north of the UK. So you do see for the Glasgow pressure charts, you can see the most are higher pressure, not blisteringly high pressure like we do have at the moment, but higher pressure, and generally nothing particularly deep. There are a few very deep runs coming through potentially where we do see Ida spinning up heading through the UK, and we'll just have to keep an eye on that. If we do have a look at the upper air temperatures and precipitation, you can see generally things are looking above average. You can see the operational run there with some warmer temperatures as well. Pretty much consistent warmer average temperatures in Scotland, and then there's a lot of precipitation spikes in the longer term, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But at the moment, it is really Hurricane Ida, which is putting a spanner in the works for the forecast at the moment, for sort of 7 days and beyond. If we do finally have a look at the UK Met Office run super the precipitation show, you can see at the moment we've got a few showers in the far southeast, but they should fade away this evening, and they're fairly light. They may provide a bit of sprinkling here or there, but nothing too much. As we head through Sunday, there's a few showers in the east once again, but nothing too significant, of course. Maybe in the northeast, spreading a little bit more widespread, but again, they are patchy and very light as well. And then you can see they are, throughout this week, a few showers in the east, but it shouldn't be a washout by any means, but it just may mean that at times you may see a few showers. If we have a look at temperatures, today got up to low 20s for many areas, potentially 21, 22 degrees in a few areas. As we head through to Sunday, you can see temperatures are pretty much widely, again, around 20 degrees, maybe a little bit cooler in the east as we have some colder air just seeping in a little bit. For bank holiday Monday, things are once again looking all right. Temperatures are going to be around 20 degrees, maybe 18, 19 degrees. Feeling warmer in the sunshine where we do have a bit of cloud and some showers. It may be a bit cooler. But remember, we are heading towards autumn now, so sort of decent temperatures are going to be mid to high teens. That's going to be decent over the next month or so. Anything over 20 degrees will soon just really be a bonus in regards to temperatures. For Tuesday, temperatures once again maybe 20 degrees in a few spots, but widely mid to high teens. And then by Wednesday, things are still looking decent, mid to high teens once again. Maybe a little bit cooler for the northeast, where we do have a bit more of a breeze. So we'll just have to keep an eye on the precipitation temperatures for the next few days. It very much will just be checking the radar. And of course, these temperatures will vary depending on cloud amounts. If you do see some thicker cloud, which is very difficult to forecast, and we do have sort of a messy high pressure like we do at the moment, where we do have a bit of cloud stuck under it. It's difficult to forecast exactly where big cloud amounts are going to be. Where they do occur, it can drop temperatures down by a couple of degrees. So we'll just have to really keep an eye on this. But it's looking fairly decent. But as we head towards next weekend, that's where we do potentially see the impacts of Hurricane Ida. It could bring stormy weather, or it could bring some very hot weather. So we'll really have to keep an eye on that on the forecast at the moment. But of course, I do pray for any of those in the path of Hurricane Ida in its full force at the moment, as it will probably be making landfall tomorrow. And I'll be probably putting a video out on that tomorrow as well, so do stay tuned for that. But by no means for the UK going to be impacted by anything too significant at this stage. At the moment, it does maybe just look like potentially a little bit of patch of stormy weather and maybe some hotter air, but by no means is it going to be the 100 plus mile an hour winds and sort of 10 plus inches of rain some areas going to be seeing over the next few days. So I do pray for them. I hope everyone there has made the correct precautions. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you enjoy your bank holiday, and I'll see you again for another video soon.